If you want to start reading Meditations Book 1, go to 1 minute and 14 seconds. The Meditations by Marcus Aurelius are based on Stoic philosophy, but many people don't just read it to learn about Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius gives us a more personal and emotional view, focusing on his own thoughts and feelings rather than just philosophical ideas. Marcus Aurelius was known as a philosopher king and was called the philosopher, but he didn't write this book to teach philosophy or address an audience. His writing is softer and more personal compared to the stricter Stoics like Zeno or Chrysippus. This book is like a private journal where he writes down his personal thoughts and the moral rules he follows to deal with his duties. This video took a month to create, so if you like it, please consider subscribing to support our channel. Now let's dive into Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, Book 1. I learned from my granddad Verus too. Book 1. The Influences. I learned to be polite and control my anger from my dad, who was known for being modest and strong. My mom taught me to be humble and generous, to avoid not just bad actions, but also bad thoughts, and to live simply, which is unusual for rich people. Thanks to my great-granddad, I didn't have to go to public lectures and discussions. Instead, I had good teachers at home, which was very valuable. My mentor taught me not to get too caught up in sports or gambling, to work hard, need less stuff, and avoid bothering others. He also showed me not to get involved in other people's problems or talk about them behind their backs. From Diognetus, I learned not to be vain and to be cautious about people who claim to have special powers. He taught me to avoid supporting anything that harms animals without a good reason, to defend everyone's right to free speech, even if I disagree with them, and to study philosophy with passion. Because of him, I also got to know Bacchus, Phasis, and Marcianus. This made me start writing down my thoughts about philosophy and appreciate the basics, just like the Greek philosophers did. Thanks to Rusticus, I realized I needed to improve myself. He helped me avoid showing off like other thinkers of the time or writing pretentious stuff. He also kept me from bragging about my lifestyle or pretending to be busy. I stopped focusing on fancy speeches, poetry, and showing off with fancy clothes. His simple way of writing, especially in a letter to my mom, made a big impression on me. He taught me to forgive easily, read thoroughly, question things, and not be impressed by just words. Thanks to him, I read Epicurus's works from his own collection. From Apollonius, I learned about true freedom and staying focused on my goals. He taught me to always follow reason, even during tough times like illness or losing loved ones. He showed me how to be adaptable and firm when needed, and to accept help from friends without feeling inferior. He was patient and didn't brag about his teaching skills. Sexus taught me kindness and showed me what a loving family looks like. I learned to be serious without pretending, understand different personalities, and be patient with those who don't think things through. He was friendly, respected, and showed me how to stay calm, be loving, and encourage others without showing off. Alexander the Great taught me not to criticize or correct people's language, but to respond correctly or focus on the topic. Fronto showed me that leaders often face jealousy and deceit, and that people from noble families might not always be as loving as expected. Alexander the Platonic reminded me not to say I'm too busy as an excuse to avoid responsibilities or people. Catullus taught me to be understanding even if a friend is wrong, and to speak highly of my teachers. He also taught me to genuinely love my children. My brother Sues taught me to love family, value truth and justice, and introduced me to great thinkers and the idea of fair government. He was honest, kind, and believed in the good in people. Maximus advised me to control my emotions, think clearly, and stay strong during tough times. People trusted him because he was genuine, never surprised, and always focused. He was kind, forgiving, and had a good sense of humor. He was not quick to smile, but wasn't angry either. From my dad, I learned many important lessons. He taught me to be kind, make consistent decisions after careful thought, work hard, and not seek fame or recognition. He was always open to listening to others, and was fair, knowing when to be strict and when to show mercy. He lived a life free from wrongful desires and treated everyone with kindness and respect. He was patient, loyal, and planned for the future, paying attention to details. My dad managed public funds responsibly and wasn't easily bothered by criticism. He wasn't driven by religion or pleasing people but by reason. He enjoyed life's comforts without being flashy or dependent on them. He respected genuine thinkers and enjoyed conversations. He took moderate care of his health and was rarely sick. He recognized and supported those with special talents or skills, and he was deeply rooted in traditions without showing off. He wasn't a fan of unnecessary changes and kept secrets only related to public affairs. He hosted events sensibly and wasn't overly concerned with his appearance or possessions. He forgave people, like a tax collector who wronged him, and approached tasks calmly without getting too worked up. He was similar to Socrates in his ability to enjoy things in moderation. I'm very thankful to the gods for many things in my life. I've had a loving family, good teachers, loyal servants, and supportive friends and relatives. Even with my sometimes difficult nature, I didn't upset or offend them, thanks to their positive influence. I'm grateful for the lessons in humility and simplicity, which helped me understand the value of modesty. It's also a blessing that I wasn't swayed by love too early or recklessly. One major influence in my life was the ruler I lived under. He showed me that you don't need grand displays of wealth or power to be a great leader. He was humble yet effective in roles that required authority. My brother has been a great support and inspiration. I've been lucky with my children, who are kind-hearted and healthy. I'm glad I didn't get too caught up in studies that weren't meaningful or beneficial. I'm also happy that I could help those who cared for me in my youth achieve their dreams. The people like Apollonius, Rusticus, and Maximus had a big impact on my life, shaping my understanding of living a life true to nature and purpose. If I fell short of these ideals, it was my own doing, not due to a lack of guidance from the gods. I feel protected by the gods in my health and in my journey into philosophy, helping me avoid mistakes and false teachings. Looking back, I see that many good things happened in my life, thanks to a mix of fate and the God's grace. Book 2. On the River Gran, Among the Quadi. Every morning, remind yourself, today I'll meet difficult people like rude or ungrateful ones. They act this way because they don't understand what's right or wrong. I've seen that good is beautiful and bad is ugly. Even if someone does wrong, they are like a brother to me, not by blood but by our shared humanity. No one can truly harm me. I won't let anger break the connection between us. Just like our body parts work together, we should support each other. Being angry or distant goes against our nature. I'm made of flesh, breath, and my mind. I don't need more books or distractions, especially now that I'm older. Flesh is just bones and blood, and breath is just air. The most important part is my mind. As I get older, I need to make sure it's not controlled by small desires. I'll accept whatever comes my way and won't fear the future. Everything the gods decide is well thought out. Random events are still part of nature and linked to a grand plan. Everything has its start and purpose. Remember, you're part of this big universe. Changes are natural, whether in elements or complex things. Keep this in mind and don't keep seeking more knowledge. When your time comes, leave with thanks. Think about how much time you've wasted and the many chances the gods gave you. It's important to understand the universe and your role in it. You have limited time. If you don't use it wisely, it will pass just like everything else. Every day, act with real dignity, kindness, and fairness. Set aside distractions and approach each task as if it's your last. Don't be stubborn or go against reason. Avoid being fake, selfish, or unhappy with life's outcomes. If you follow these principles, you've done what the gods ask of you. Don't waste time seeking validation from others. Life is short. Find happiness within yourself instead of looking for it in others. Don't get lost in endless activities. Take time to learn and grow. Have a clear goal that guides your actions and decisions. instead of just going through life without purpose. People rarely suffer from not understanding others' thoughts, but if you don't understand your own feelings and thoughts, you'll be unhappy. Always remember the bigger picture, how the universe works, who you are, and how you fit into it. Your traits are part of the universe's traits, and no one can stop you from living true to your nature. Theophrastus wisely notes that crimes done for pleasure are worse than those done out of anger or passion. Why? Because someone angry is temporarily losing reason, like a sudden outburst. But someone who does wrong for pleasure has actively chosen to give in to temptation, showing weaker character. Theophrastus believes giving in to pleasure is worse than reacting out of pain, as the latter might be a response to being wronged. Live every moment as if it could be your last. If there are gods, leaving this world isn't scary because they wouldn't harm you. If there aren't any gods or they don't care about us, why live in such a universe? But let's believe there are gods who care, and they've made sure we can avoid real harm. Events like death, fame, pain, or wealth happen to everyone, good or bad. They don't define our character and are neither good nor bad. Our ability to reason helps us see how quickly everything fades. Physical things and even memories disappear over time. Things that attract or scare us, or that we're proud of, are fleeting. Think about the people whose opinions we value. What is their true worth? And about death. If we think about it without fear, it's just a natural process. Being afraid of something natural is naive. Understanding death helps us understand our connection to the universe, and possibly to God. The poet says it's pointless to obsess over understanding everything around us, especially trying to guess what others are thinking. What's important is focusing on the spirit within us. True worship means keeping our spirit free from unnecessary emotions and not complaining about what gods or people do. We should respect the gods' actions and understand or empathize with people's actions, knowing they might not know right from wrong. This ignorance is as big a handicap as not knowing basic colors. Whether you live for thousands of years or just a moment, remember everyone loses the life they're living and lives in the present moment. The past and future are beyond our reach. So remember two things. Everything in life is cyclical, and whether your life is short or long, everyone loses the same thing in death, the present moment. No one can lose what they never had. Monis the cynic once said, "Only opinions matter." While this isn't entirely true, there's some truth to it if taken with a pinch of salt. A person's soul devalues itself when it resists the natural flow of the universe. Getting upset over specific events means rejecting the natural order of things. The soul also harms itself when it holds ill will towards someone, seeks to harm others, or is overwhelmed by pleasure or pain. Action should always have meaningful intent, and rational beings should align with the universal law that binds us all. Human life is brief and unpredictable. Our physical bodies are fragile, and our perceptions are often clouded. Chasing fame is fleeting, as everyone is eventually forgotten. What can guide us? Philosophy. It helps us keep our inner integrity, stay resilient against pleasure and pain, act genuinely, and remain unaffected by others' actions. It teaches us to accept our fate, knowing it comes from the same source as us. Most importantly, philosophy helps us face death calmly, seeing it as a natural change. If the parts of life remain unchanged through changes, why should the transformation of the whole be any different? Everything natural is inherently good. Book 3. On Crystal Clearness. Every day, a part of our life passes by, and we have less time left. It's not just about how much time we have, but also about keeping our minds sharp. As we get older, our ability to think clearly and make good decisions might weaken. So, we should make the most of our time now, not just because our days are numbered, but also because our clear thinking might not last forever. Notice how even the unexpected or imperfect parts of nature have their own beauty. For example, when bread bakes, it might crack, but those cracks can make it look even more delicious. Ripe figs open up, and overripe olives have a unique look that can be appealing. Even things like drooping corners or a lion's intense gaze can be seen as beautiful. These may not seem attractive at first, but they are all part of nature's charm. Someone who truly loves nature will find beauty in all its aspects. They will enjoy seeing wild animals in nature just as much as in art. They'll appreciate the elegance of older people and the energy of the young. If you really connect with nature, you'll find beauty in things that others might overlook. Hippocrates, who helped many people, eventually got sick and died. The Chaldean predicted many deaths, but also faced their own end. Great leaders like Alexander, Pompey, and Caesar, who conquered cities and armies, also passed away. Philosophers like Heraclitus and Democritus died in ironic ways related to their beliefs, and Socrates was executed. So, what's the point? Life is a journey, and everyone will have an end. When it's time to move on, whether to another life or nothingness, you'll either meet the divine or be free from life's ups and downs. Remember, our soul is powerful and divine, while our body is just temporary and fragile. Don't waste your time worrying about what others are doing unless it benefits everyone. When you obsess over others' actions, words, or intentions, you're not focusing on improving yourself. Keep your thoughts positive and avoid pointless or negative thinking. Train your mind so you can answer honestly and directly if someone asks what you're thinking. Aim to be genuine and kind, avoiding fleeting pleasures and negative emotions like jealousy or resentment. Think of yourself as someone striving to be the best version of themselves, almost like a guide or mentor. Such a person values fairness, accepts life's events as they come, and doesn't worry about others' opinions unless it's for a greater good. Focus on your actions and how they fit into the bigger picture, believing in their importance. Remember that we're all connected as humans and should care for one another. Stick to values that align with a good, natural life. When considering the opinions of those who don't live by these principles, remember their actions and environments. Their praise shouldn't matter much since they might not be content with themselves. When you act, do it without hesitation, selfishness, poor judgment, or feeling forced. Keep your thoughts straightforward and avoid pointless chatter or meddling in others' affairs. Let your inner values guide you to act responsibly with wisdom and the pride of a leader. Always be ready for whatever comes next in life without needing approval or validation from others. Stay positive and rely on yourself. If you find something better than being fair, honest, disciplined, and strong, or more fulfilling than being at peace with your decisions and accepting things beyond your control, then fully embrace it. But if you value the inner strength and wisdom inside you, which helps you make good choices, think clearly, and show kindness to others, then prioritize that above everything else. Don't get distracted by seeking approval, power, wealth, or short-term pleasures. These things might seem tempting but can lead you off track. Always choose what's truly best for you. If it's good for your mind and soul, commit to it. If it's good for your body, recognize it and be humble. Just make sure you're clear about what's genuinely best for you. Prioritize honesty and integrity. Don't do things that force you to betray your values, distrust others, or hide your actions. Focus on your inner self and the good qualities within. Don't be overly dramatic or affected by surroundings. You don't need to be alone or in a crowd to find peace. Don't obsess over how long life is. It's how you live that counts the most. A person who has learned and grown won't have anything toxic or unhealthy in their life. Just like an actor doesn't leave the stage before their role is done, life doesn't end before it's meant to. There's nothing fake or overly traditional about them, and they don't hide from criticism or seek to stay hidden. Value the ability to form opinions. It's because of this ability that we think logically and reasonably. It helps us avoid jumping to conclusions, be understanding towards others, and respect higher powers. Let go of unnecessary things and focus on the essentials. We only truly live in the present moment. Everything else is either in the past or uncertain. We all have a short time to live and occupy just a tiny part of the world. Even the most famous people are remembered for a short while, and their memory is passed down by others who will also pass away. Many of these people don't even truly know themselves, let alone those who died ages ago. Keep these guidelines in mind. When something catches your attention, break it down to understand its basic essence and bigger picture. Ask yourself what it's made of, its real name, and how long it might last. Think about its role in the universe and its importance to us as humans. Whenever you face a situation, think about what good quality it's asking you to show, like kindness, bravery, honesty, or any other virtue. For every situation, remind yourself that this is either from a higher power, fate, chance, or from someone who might not know better. But you know better, so treat them with kindness and fairness, and always try to see things for their true worth. If you focus on what's right now and do it with passion, while staying true to logic and sincerity, you'll lead a good life, and no one can stop you. Just like surgeons always have their tools ready for emergencies, you should always be prepared with the knowledge to understand the world around you. This helps you connect with both the divine and everyday life. If you forget this, you'll fall short in your responsibilities to both people and higher powers. Stop getting lost in daydreams. You might not get another chance to revisit your past. Read about ancient heroes or go through your saved readings. Focus on the present and what's truly important. Let go of unrealistic expectations and help yourself while you still can. People often don't grasp the deeper meanings behind actions like stealing or buying. It's not just our eyes that see these things, it's a deeper understanding that recognizes their true nature. We all have a body, emotions, and thoughts. Our body gives us physical sensations, our emotions can be intense, and our thoughts guide our actions. Animals also feel sensations and have emotions just like us. Even the worst people can think and make decisions. So, what makes a good person stand out? It's their ability to accept what happens in life, keep their inner self calm and pure, and always be truthful and fair, even if others doubt their sincerity. A good person stays true to their path, lives a simple, honest life, and when it's time to move on, they do so peacefully without resistance. Book 4. On Human Beauty. Our inner strength helps us handle any situation, just like how fire grows stronger by using whatever is thrown into it. This strength doesn't depend on special conditions. It helps us grow stronger through challenges. Always think carefully before acting, and make sure your actions are based on good reasons and values. People often seek peace in quiet places like the countryside or mountains. You might also enjoy these breaks, but remember, you can find peace anytime by looking inward. Your mind can be your own peaceful retreat if you find balance in your thoughts. Take time for self-reflection regularly to recharge. Remember these simple truths. If people behave badly, remember that everyone is here to get along. Some people can't help how they act. Many who once held grudges are now gone. Why waste time complaining? If you worry about your role in the world, consider that there might be a bigger plan or everything might just be random. If you're in pain, know that your mind can rise above it. Want to be famous? Realize how quickly people forget and how limited real admiration can be. So always come back to the peace inside you. Stay grounded and don't stress too much. Remember your values and face life bravely and thoughtfully. 2 key things to remember. External events don't shape our inner peace. It's how we see them that matters. Everything changes quickly, so focus on the present. Life is shaped by our thoughts. We all share a common understanding and decision-making ability, making us part of a global community. Just as my body comes from the earth, my mind must come from somewhere too. Death and birth are natural parts of life, and neither should be seen as shameful. People act according to their nature, just like figs are naturally juicy. Remember that we all have limited time in life. Soon, no one will remember us or our actions. If you stop thinking, "I am hurt," you won't feel the pain. If you don't acknowledge pain, it fades away. What doesn't harm you inside or outside isn't truly harmful. Everything happens for a reason, and it's usually for the best. Keep this perspective, and aim for genuine goodness in all you do. Don't let insults shape your view. Always be ready to act based on what's best for everyone, guided by logical thinking. Be open to changing your mind if someone offers a better perspective, but only if it's for the greater good, not just for personal gain or fame. If you can think and reason, use that ability. You are part of something bigger, and eventually, you'll return to where you came from or transform into universal energy. Imagine many pieces of incense burning on an altar. Some burn out quickly, while others take longer. In the end, it doesn't matter when. If you start acting ethically and thinking rationally, those who criticize you now will see you as wise. Live your life as if you don't have endless time. Life is unpredictable, so be kind and do good while you can. You'll find peace when you stop worrying about what others are doing or thinking and focus on making your actions just and pure. Stay on your path and don't get distracted by others. If you worry about the legacy or fame you'll leave behind, remember that everyone who remembers you will eventually pass away, and so will the next generation. Even if your memory lasted forever, it wouldn't bring real benefit. True beauty stands on its own and doesn't need validation from others. Just like genuine beauty, things like truth, honor, and kindness don't change in value based on others' opinions. An emerald doesn't lose its shine if no one compliments it, and gold or beautiful art remains valuable regardless of praise or criticism. If our spirits live on after we die, think about how the earth has held countless buried bodies for ages. Bodies decompose over time, making room for new ones. Similarly, when spirits are released, they might linger briefly before transforming and merging back into universal energy. The animals we eat become part of us, but there's always space because they change forms within us. Focus on understanding the nature and purpose of things. Stay on track, act fairly, and make sure you truly understand things before forming opinions. Align with everything natural for you. Cherish what you bring with each season, and embrace everything, knowing it will eventually return to you. Some people praise their hometown with affection, but shouldn't we express love for the universe, the true city of the divine? If you want peace, do less. Focus on what's essential and do it with purpose. This way, you'll find peace from doing the right thing and from not being overwhelmed by too many tasks. Most of what you say and do isn't needed. Cut those out to have more free time and less stress. Always ask yourself if something is truly necessary, both in actions and thoughts. Try living like a genuinely good person, one who is happy with what life has given and takes pride in doing the right thing and being kind. Keep things simple and avoid overcomplicating them. If someone does wrong, it's on them. If something happens to you, accept it as part of the bigger picture. Life is short, so make the most of it wisely and fairly. When you relax, do so mindfully. The universe is either organized or chaotic, but even if it's a mix of many things, it's definitely organized. Think about how you can have order within yourself and believe the universe is chaotic when everything is connected in some way. Avoid negative traits like being mean, weak-minded, or dishonest. Understand the world and what happens in it. Running from natural logic means abandoning it. Closed-mindedness blinds you to understanding. Live fully and trust the universe or higher powers. Don't try to control or be controlled by others. Think about the times of Vespasian and how people dealt with common human behaviors like seeking approval and dealing with life's challenges. These moments are now in the past, and the same goes for the trans era. Look at history and see that people always chase after things, but everything eventually fades away. Famous phrases and names from the past eventually become unfamiliar and outdated. Even the most famous individuals are forgotten. Chasing eternal fame is pointless. What truly matters is being honest, genuine, and accepting life's events with a positive attitude. Go with the flow of life and let fate take its course. Everything is temporary, both memories and what's being remembered. Remember that everything is constantly changing. Nature loves to transform things and create new versions. Think of the present as a seed for the future. Don't limit the idea of the seed to just what's planted in soil or a womb. You're not going to live forever. So embrace simplicity, inner peace, kindness, and fairness. Notice what drives people, what they care about, and what they avoid. Things that harm you don't come from others or changes in your surroundings. The real issue is how you perceive and judge these things. If you stop viewing them as bad, you'll be at peace, even if your body goes through pain or sickness. Everything that happens isn't inherently good or evil. Think of the universe as one living entity with a single intelligence and shared force, where everything influences everything else. You're a soul in a body. Time is like a fast-flowing river where everything that appears is quickly replaced by something else. Everything that happens has a cause and effect. There's a reason behind it, just as things now are connected to future events. Remember what Heraclitus said: earth changes to water, water to air, and air to fire, and vice versa. Don't forget where life's journey leads. It's strange how people often disagree with logic or find everyday things surprising. Don't go through life mindlessly or just accept things because you were told as a child. If you knew you would die soon, would it really matter which day? Don't stress about whether you live for many years or just one more day. Reflect on how brief and fleeting life is and live in harmony with nature. When your time comes, leave peacefully, like a ripe olive falling gracefully from its tree. Imagine yourself as a strong cliff against which waves crash but can't move. If something bad happens, instead of saying, "This is terrible for me," think, "I'm strong because I don't let it break me or make me fear the future." Bad things can happen to anyone, but not everyone handles them well. Focus on how you handle challenges rather than the challenges themselves. Remember, true misfortune is when something stops you from being honest, brave, wise, and other good qualities. Next time you're upset, remind yourself that it's not the bad event, but how you handle it that matters. Here's a simple thought to help you not fear death. Think of all the people who wanted to live long. In the end, everyone ends up dead anyway. Life's length, whether short or long, doesn't make a big difference. So don't overvalue a long life, especially if it's filled with challenges and spent among people who don't matter. Always take the direct path, the one that's natural. Speak and act based on what's right and logical. This will save you from unnecessary stress, conflict, and the need to show off or manipulate situations. Book 5. On the Gifts from the Gods. When you don't feel like getting up in the morning, remind yourself that you're waking up to do what people are meant to do. Why complain about doing what you were born to do? Am I just supposed to stay in bed and be cozy? You might wonder if life is just about being comfortable or about doing things. Look at the smallest plants and animals. They all have a job and help the world. So why wouldn't you do your part as a person? Yes, rest is important, but it needs to be balanced. Just like eating, you can rest too much and not do enough work. If you really cared about yourself, you'd value your purpose. Some people love their work so much that they'll work hard, even skipping meals. But you don't seem to care about your role as much as they care about their work. Some people would give up anything to reach their dreams. Shouldn't you be just as dedicated to your natural purpose? It's easy to push away any distracting thoughts and feel calm. Don't think any action or choice that fits with nature is beneath you. Don't let others' criticisms stop you. If it's the right thing to do, then do it. People will always have opinions, but stick to what you believe is right. Just follow your path and the natural way of the universe. They're guiding you in the same direction. I live my life following nature's path, and one day I'll return to it. I'll take my last breath in the air I've been breathing, and my body will return to the earth that has fed and supported me all these years, even though I haven't always treated it well. People might not praise you for being smart, and that's okay. You have many other good qualities. Be honest, act with dignity, work hard, avoid too many pleasures, don't complain about life's challenges, live simply, be kind and straightforward, avoid exaggeration and pointless talking, and aim for greatness. You have so many virtues, yet you don't always show them. You don't need to be negative or seek approval from others. Instead, focus on improving yourself. If you find it hard to understand things quickly, work on it. Don't ignore it, but don't feel sorry for yourself either. Some people remind you a lot about the favors they've done for you, as if keeping score. Others might not say it, but think you owe them for their kindness. But there are some who help without expecting anything back. They're like a vine that produces grapes without asking for praise, or a horse that runs without boasting, or a bee that makes honey without showing off. These people help others and then move on, ready to help again. Should we act without realizing we're being selfless? Yes, but be careful. If you misunderstand this, you might end up boasting like the first group. True selflessness means doing good without expecting praise. The Athenians had a simple prayer: "Rain, rain, dear Zeus, on the fields and farmlands of the Athenians." We should either not pray or keep our prayers simple and sincere, like this. Just like when a doctor suggests a treatment, such as taking cold baths or a specific exercise, think of life's challenges, like sickness or losses, as advice from the universe. These challenges are not meant to harm you but fit into a bigger plan, like how bricks fit together to build a wall. Everything in the universe is connected in a harmonious way. People often say it was meant to be, or it was fate, meaning that everything that happens is part of a bigger plan. So when life gives you challenges, think of them as advice from the universe. We follow medical advice, even if it's tough, hoping to get better. Similarly, accept life's challenges because they're part of the universe's way of keeping balance. Everything that happens is for the greater good of the universe. So remember two things. First, whatever happens to you is part of a plan that has been there since the beginning. And second, everything, including personal challenges, plays a role in the grand scheme. Every time you complain about your fate, you upset this balance. So accept and move forward. Don't stress or get discouraged if you can't always live up to your highest ideals. It's okay to make mistakes sometimes. If you do, just try again and remember that most of the time, you're doing your best. Appreciate the good in you. And when you need guidance, turn to philosophy. Think of it as a remedy to soothe the pain, not as following rules just to show off. Philosophy only asks you to do what's natural for you. Sometimes you might want things that aren't really good for you because they seem fun, but think about it. Aren't traits like courage, honesty, simplicity, kindness, and spirituality even better? There's nothing better than feeling wise and knowing that you're making good choices and thinking clearly. The true nature of things is often hidden, making it hard for even the smartest people to fully understand. Even the Stoics admit that it's hard to know anything for sure. Our beliefs are often inconsistent, and when we think about what we value, it's fleeting and not that special. Sometimes, the things we value are also valued by people with questionable morals. When you look at how people behave, it's hard to find someone truly admirable, including ourselves. In such a messy, ever-changing world, it's hard to find anything genuinely worth wanting. Instead, we should find comfort in the natural flow of life, reminding ourselves of two things. First, whatever happens is part of the natural order. And second, we always have the choice not to go against our core values, no matter what outside pressure there is. How am I using my inner self? I should always think about this and consider the state of my guiding spirit. I should also think about what kind of spirit I have. Is it immature, fearful, aggressive, or calm? Is it more like a gentle animal or a wild one? You can tell what people really value based on what they consider good. If someone values real virtues like wisdom, self-control, fairness, or bravery, they won't be bothered by jokes about having too much of a good thing. But if they value things that society usually chases, like money or luxury, they'll find those jokes funny. This shows that even everyday people can spot the difference. Think about it. If these material things were truly valuable, we wouldn't laugh at the idea of someone having so much wealth that they don't even have space to relax. I am made up of two parts, my body and my soul. Neither will just vanish. They didn't come from nothing. Every part of me will change and become part of the universe in some way. This cycle keeps going. It's how I was born, how my ancestors were born, and it has been happening forever. This idea still holds true, even if the universe has set patterns it follows. Our ability to reason and think clearly are powers that stand on their own. They start from within and follow their own path. When our thoughts are clear and direct, we say they're right because they're on the right track. A person should only be judged based on what's truly part of their nature. If something isn't essential to who they are, you can't expect it from them, and it's not what defines their worth or happiness. If something was truly essential, it wouldn't be right to avoid or reject it. However, we see that the less one relies on non-essential things, the stronger and better they become. Your frequent thoughts shape your mindset. Your mind will reflect what you often think about. So fill your mind with positive thoughts, like you can find happiness and live well anywhere, even in challenging environments like a busy city or a court. Everything has a purpose and works towards achieving its best state. For thinking beings like humans, being social and connecting with others is essential. It's clear that everything has a hierarchy, with reasoning beings at the top, meant to work together and support each other. Chasing after impossible things is crazy. Bad people will always act in certain ways no matter what. People can handle anything life throws at them. It's in our nature. Some people stay strong either because they don't realize what's happening or they want to show off. It's strange that pretending or not knowing can be stronger than real wisdom. Physical things can't affect our inner feelings or soul. Only our own thoughts and beliefs can change how we feel. External events are interpreted by our internal beliefs. On one hand, I feel close to other people because I want to help and understand them. But if they get in my way, I see them as just another part of the environment, like the weather or animals. They might disrupt my plans, but they can't change my goals or feelings. My mind can turn any obstacle into an advantage. Respect the greatest force in the universe, which controls everything, and also respect the best part of yourself, which guides your actions and decisions. It's connected to the universe's force. If something doesn't harm the community, it doesn't harm its members. Remember this when you feel wronged. If the community isn't affected, neither am I. If it is, don't be angry at the person causing the harm. Instead, think about why they did it. Often, think about how quickly things change and move on. Everything is like a constantly flowing river, always changing and influenced by countless factors. Almost nothing stays the same. With the vastness of the past and the unpredictability of the future surrounding us, it's silly to let temporary successes or problems get to us. Book 6, About the Universe. The universe is controlled by a force that is always good and causes no harm. Everything exists and works well because of this force. No matter how you feel, cold, tired, praised, or criticized, always do what's right. Facing death is just a part of life. Focus on doing your best in every situation and understand that everything changes quickly. Things either come together or spread out, depending on what they are made of. The guiding force knows how everything works best. If someone has wronged you, don't act like them. Find joy in doing good for others and keep in mind a higher purpose or power. The main part of you is what drives you and shapes your world. Everything happens according to the natural order of the universe. There's no other force that can change this. The universe might be a mess that keeps getting sorted out or a well-organized system. If it's a mess, don't worry about it. If it's organized, trust in its creator and feel safe. When life gets tough, take a moment to calm yourself. Don't let disruptions affect you for too long. The more you practice, the better you will handle challenges. Think of the outside world like a stepmom and your inner peace as your real mom. Respect both, but spend more time with your inner peace. This will make dealing with the outside world easier. Remember, things aren't as special as they seem. A fancy dish is just cooked fish or chicken. Expensive wine is just grape juice, and luxurious clothing is just wool dyed with shellfish blood. Understanding the true nature of things can help you see they are not that grand. When you face something impressive, break it down to its core. Don't be fooled by appearances. Even important stuff can be simple when you look closely. Crates and Zen crates had similar ideas. People admire things in categories. Simple things like rocks, living things like animals, and intelligence tied to skills. But if you truly value intelligence for its universal potential, focus on your own mind and work with others who value the same. Everything is always changing. As something is created, it is already starting to fade away. Life moves forward, showing us new moments. Holding on to something is like trying to catch a bird that's already flown away. Our lives are short, like a breath we take from birth to death. Simply existing or being driven by senses and emotions isn't special. What matters is acting true to yourself. This is the goal of learning and self-improvement, to be the best version of yourself. If you achieve this, you won't desire anything else. Valuing other things can lead to jealousy and conflict. To find peace, focus on understanding and respecting yourself. This aligns you with others and the universe. Elements move in all directions, but true virtue is guided by something special. People often seek approval from future generations they'll never meet, rather than appreciating those around them. It's like being upset that we can't hear compliments from our ancestors. If something seems too hard, don't assume it's impossible. If it's something humans can do, and it's right, believe you can do it too. In sports, if someone accidentally hurts us, we don't hold a grudge. We should do the same in life. Avoid those who harm you, but don't hate them. If someone shows me I'm wrong, I'll happily change. I seek the truth, and truth never harms anyone. What harms is stubbornly sticking to mistakes or not knowing better. Do what you need to do and don't get sidetracked. Treat animals and everything with respect. Be friendly and work with others. Ask for guidance from a higher power, and don't worry about how long it takes. Even spending 3 hours on something might be enough. When Alexander the Great and his mule driver died, they ended up the same. Either both went back to the start or became scattered particles. Think about all the different things happening inside us and in the universe. It's amazing. If someone asked you to spell Antoninus, you'd spell it out calmly, even if they argue. Life's tasks are similar. Handle disagreements calmly and move forward. It's unfair to stop people from doing what they believe is best. If you disagree, guide them and teach them why there might be a better way. Do it calmly. Death is when our feelings, thoughts, and needs stop. It's disappointing when someone gives up mentally while their body can still do things. Don't let power go to your head. Face challenges with kindness, honesty, and respect. Stay true to the philosophy and be dedicated. Life is short, and the best things you can leave behind are a clear mind and selfless actions. Learn from Antoninus's example, his dedication, calmness, spirituality, kindness, patience, and how he didn't seek attention. Notice how he understood deeply, was kind to critics, was observant, careful with words, fearless and honest. He lived simply, worked hard, got angry slowly, and was a true friend. He welcomed different opinions and loved being corrected. Live like him, so when your time comes, you'll be at peace with yourself. Wake up and clear your mind. What troubled you was just like a dream. Treat real-life situations the same way. I'm made of a body and a mind. The body doesn't care about things because it can't tell them apart. The mind, however, is only affected by its actions and focuses on the present, not the past or future. Just as it's natural for hands or feet to work, it's natural for humans to put in effort. If it's natural, it can't be bad for us. Even people who did bad things have felt pleasure in life. Craftsmen stick to their principles, even if public opinion changes. It's sad that professionals value their rules more than we value our reasoning, which we share with the divine. Asia and Europe are tiny parts of the universe. The vast ocean is like a drop, and big mountains are like specks of dirt. Time-wise, the present moment is fleeting in the grand scale of eternity. Everything is small and always changing, Everything comes from a universal intelligence, including things like lions' jaws, poisons, and thorns. Don't see them as separate from the universe's beauty. Instead, think about where everything comes from. If you've experienced the present, you've seen all of history and the future. Everything is similar in nature and shape. Think about how everything in the universe is connected and works together in harmony. Embrace your life and the people around you. Show love and care for those around you. Everything in nature has a purpose, and the force that created it is still there. Respect that force and believe that following its guidance will help things fall into place. When we desire things out of our control and don't get them, we often blame others or even the gods. This mindset can lead to unfairness. Focus only on what's in your control, and you won't have reasons to blame or resent anyone. We're all part of a big project. Some people know what they're doing, while others don't. Heraclitus believed that even when people are asleep, they contribute to the world's progress. Everyone has a role, including those who complain and resist change. Decide where you fit in. The universe will find a use for you. Just make sure you're not playing a silly role, like what Sippus mentioned. Does the sun try to do the rain's job, or does Asclepius try to act like Ceres? The stars are different but work together for a common goal. If the gods planned my life, they likely had good reasons. It's hard to imagine them not thinking things through or wanting to hurt me. If they didn't plan specifically for me, they planned for the universe as a whole. I should be okay with whatever happens. If the gods don't plan anything, why pray or make sacrifices? Even if they don't care about my individual life, I can still think about what's best for me. My purpose aligns with my nature, to think and connect with others. My city is Rome, but as a human, I belong to the world. What's good for these places is good for me. Everything that happens to an individual benefits the whole community. What's good for one person is often good for everyone. Profit isn't just about money or things. It's about broader benefits. Life can feel repetitive, like watching the same show over and over. Everything follows a pattern from start to finish. Think about famous people from the past, like Heraclitus, Pythagoras, Socrates, Eudoxus, and Archimedes. They've all moved on, but that's not a bad thing. What matters is living truthfully, justly, and kindly, even to those who aren't the same to you. To lift your spirits, think about the good qualities of those around you. Celebrate their goodness, like someone being active, humble, or generous. Always keep these positive examples in mind. Are you upset about not weighing 300 pounds, but just your current weight? If not, then why be sad about living a certain number of years and not more? Just as you accept your weight, accept the time you have. Try to get people on board with your ideas, but if they don't, keep doing what you believe is right. If someone pushes back, stay calm. Use that challenge to grow in other ways. Remember, you can't achieve the impossible. Your goal was to try, and you did. People who seek validation find joy in others' actions. Those seeking pleasure find it in their feelings. But wise people find happiness in their efforts. Choose not to judge things, and you'll find peace. Book 7. Finding Peace Inside Yourself. Sometimes we see the same things over and over. When you notice something repeating, remember it's not new. It's happened before. Whether it's history or today's news, it's all been done before and will eventually pass. If you can still feel the same way about important things in life, you can always bring back those feelings. So don't let things outside your control stress you out. If you remember this, you'll stay grounded and see things clearly, allowing you to start fresh whenever needed. Getting too caught up in entertainment, things, or small arguments is pointless. It's like dogs fighting over bones or fish chasing bait. There's no real purpose. Like ants carrying stuff or mice running away. It's all just noise. Instead, stand strong, be kind, and remember that what you value shapes who you are. When talking to others, listen carefully. For any task, focus on what you need to do and understand the real purpose. If you know how to do something, Use that knowledge like a tool given to you by nature. If you don't know, let someone who does take over, or do your best and work with those who can help you. Whatever you do, whether alone or with others, should benefit everyone. Think about famous people from the past who are now forgotten, and the people who once celebrated them are gone too. It's okay to ask for help. Just like in a team, everyone has a role. If you can't do something alone, there's no shame in teaming up. Don't worry too much about the future. When it comes, you'll handle it with the same logic you use now. Everything is connected in a special way. The universe acts as one, with everything related and working together. There's one force running through everything, a shared sense of reason and truth. Physical things blend into the bigger picture quickly, and every action becomes part of the grand scheme. Memories fade fast in the long run. Living naturally means living logically. Be honest with yourself, whether it's something you're naturally good at or something you learned. Just as body parts work together in harmony, our minds and lives work together in the universe. Remind yourself that you're part of this big network of thinkers. If you see yourself as just a small part, you haven't fully embraced love for humanity. You should love doing good for its own sake, and understand that when you do good, you benefit yourself too. External events can impact you, but as long as you don't see them as bad, you're not harmed. You can choose how to view things. Always strive to be your best self, like gold or gems that shine no matter what happens. Your inner self doesn't stress out, get scared, or want too much. If someone makes you upset or scared, that's on them. Your inner self, where feelings come from, won't let bad vibes in. Your body might worry or complain, but your true self is free and won't be troubled unless you let it. Being lucky means having a good mindset. Random thoughts are just old habits. Tell them to leave if they're not helpful. Change is a natural part of life. For example, to warm your bath, wood has to burn. To eat, food has to be cooked. All useful things involve change. Just like water in a river, everything in the universe moves and changes. We are all part of this big universe, working together like the parts of our body. Think about how history has seen many great thinkers come and go. Whenever you think about anyone or any situation, remember this idea. Our main concern should be to act according to human nature. We should do things the way people should, in line with our natural instincts and desires. A time will come when you'll forget everything, and everyone will forget you too. Our main job as humans is to love, even those who make mistakes. Remember that these people are just like you, and often make errors without realizing. Life is short for everyone, including them. Most importantly, their actions haven't hurt your inner self or character. Nature is always changing everything, just like molding wax into different shapes. These forms are temporary, like a toy being assembled or disassembled. Getting angry all the time isn't natural. If you keep making angry faces, you'll lose your natural charm. Think about this and ask yourself if it makes sense. If you can't see why getting angry is wrong, why keep doing it? Nature will eventually change everything around you, keeping the world fresh. When someone upsets you, think about why they did it. Maybe they have a different idea of what's right or wrong. Understanding their perspective will make you feel sympathy instead of anger. Remember, you might also have some wrong ideas, so be understanding and forgiving. Once you clear up your misconceptions, it will be easier to be patient with others. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, appreciate what you do have. Think about the best parts of your life and how much you'd miss them if they were gone. But also, be careful not to get too attached so you won't be too upset if something goes away. Take time to reflect. Your inner thoughts and logic will lead to contentment when you act fairly and find peace in doing so. Stop overthinking, control your intense emotions, and focus on the present. Understand what happens to you and others by breaking things down to understand their origin and substance. Think about your legacy and let people be responsible for their own mistakes. Pay attention to what's being said and understand the reasons behind events. Value simplicity, humility, and staying neutral on things that aren't clearly good or bad. Care for others and listen to what the universe or God guides you towards. Everything has an order, even if it seems random. About death, if everything is made of tiny particles, then death is just those particles rearranging. If there's a bigger plan, death is just moving on to another phase. About pain, if it's unbearable, it will end. If it continues, you can handle it. Your mind can distract you from physical pain, and your spirit remains strong. If any part of you suffers, it can deal with it on its own. About fame, think about how people think, what they avoid, and what they chase. Just like how new sand piles cover old layers, current events will overshadow the past. A thought from Plato. Someone who sees the bigger picture of time and existence doesn't find life that big. So, such a person wouldn't fear death. Antisthenes believed a true leader does good things even if criticized. It's strange how we can control our facial expressions based on our feelings, but struggle to control our feelings themselves. Getting mad at things outside our control is pointless, because those things don't care about our anger. Bring happiness to us and higher powers. Life is like crops. Some get harvested and some are left untouched. If the universe seems to ignore you and your kids, there's probably a good reason. Stand by what's right and fair. Stay strong and control your emotions. Plato said a person shouldn't worry about living or dying, but about whether they are doing the right or wrong thing. He also believed we should stick to our chosen path, not fearing death or anything else except doing something disgraceful. Plato thought that a true person shouldn't just aim to live longer, but should focus on living rightly, accepting fate, and making the best of the time we have. Think about the stars' movement and nature's constant change. Reflecting on these things helps clear your mind from everyday distractions. Plato had a cool idea about life. It's like looking down from a mountaintop on events like farming, marriages, deaths, busy cities, quiet lands, diverse cultures, parties, sorrow, and how order comes from chaos. History shows us how empires rise and fall, so you can predict the future based on the past. Life events follow a pattern, so living 40 years is like seeing life for thousands of years. What comes from the earth goes back to it, and what's divine returns to the heavens. This means either atoms coming apart or eternal elements dispersing. People try many things to avoid death, like food, drugs, and rituals, but we must accept whatever life or God gives us. Work hard without complaining. Someone might be stronger than you, but that doesn't make them more selfless, humble, adaptable, or forgiving. When we act with reason and align with the natural order shared by gods and humans, there's nothing to fear. When our actions match our true nature, everything is all right in every situation. Be content with what you have. Treat others fairly, and stay alert to your thoughts. Understand them before acting. Don't waste time figuring out what others are thinking. Instead, focus on your path and where life is taking you. We all have a purpose, and for humans, it's to connect and support each other. Our main trait is our ability to socialize and connect with others. Next, we must control our physical desires and not let them make our decisions. Our ability to reason should always guide us, keeping our passions and desires in check. Finally, be careful and avoid making hasty mistakes. If you remember these principles, you'll be on the right path. Think of your past as done and live the rest of your life by good principles, like it's a bonus. Embrace your unique path in life. When things happen, think about others who faced similar situations. They might have been upset or complained, but now they've moved on. Don't get caught up in those reactions. Instead, focus on how you can use such situations positively. Your main goal should be to feel good about your actions, remembering that the things you stress about are usually not that important in the long run. Look inside yourself for goodness. Keep exploring it, and it will always provide. Keep your inner self balanced, focused on your values, and let nature guide you to live well. Book 8. The Importance of Advice. Life might not always seem perfect, and people might think you're not wise. You've faced tough times, and it's not easy to be seen as a wise person now, so stop worrying about what others think. Just live your life as best as you can, even if it's for a short time. Focus on being true to yourself without distractions. You've tried many things to be happy, like looking for theories, money, fame, and pleasures, but none of these brought real joy. True happiness comes from doing your job as a human being well. How? By guiding your actions with strong values like justice, moderation, courage, and freedom. Anything that doesn't bring these qualities can't be good for you. Before you act, ask yourself if it will be good for you or if you'll regret it later. Remember, life is short, and soon everything will be gone. What matters is that your actions match being a thoughtful and social person who follows good principles. Think about it. What did powerful people like Alexander, Caesar, and Pompey really achieve compared to thinkers like Diogenes, Heraclitus, and Socrates? The latter group understood deeper truths about life and were at peace with themselves, while the former were often caught up in their ambitions and desires. People will do what they want no matter if you complain or disagree. Stay calm no matter what. Everything happens for a reason in the grand scheme of things. Just like past greats such as Hadrian and Augustus, you too will one day be just a memory. So focus on understanding situations and being a good person. Do what's right with kindness, humility, and honesty. Change is a natural part of life. Things move and transform, but there's no need to be afraid of these changes. Everything follows a pattern and balance. Everything in nature thrives when it stays true to its nature. People thrive when they believe in truths, act selflessly, focus on what they can control, and accept life's events. Just like a leaf is part of a tree, we are all part of the universe. While a leaf is part of a system that doesn't think or feel, we are part of a universe that has purpose and order. Everything has its place and time in the universe, but don't expect everything to be exactly the same. Instead, see the bigger picture and how things fit together as a whole. You might say you don't have time to read, but you always have time to be humble and control your emotions. You have time to rise above temptations, not get angry with ungrateful people, and even show them kindness. Stop complaining about life's challenges, even to yourself. No more negative talk. Regret happens when we miss out on something beneficial. Good things are always beneficial in some way and deserve our attention. A wise person wouldn't regret missing out on fleeting pleasures because pleasures aren't truly beneficial or good for everything. Ask yourself, what is it really? What's it made of? Why does it exist? What's its role in the world? How long will it last? When you don't want to get out of bed, remember that being social and active is part of being human. Both animals and humans sleep, but it's in our nature to connect and be active. That's what feels right and good for us. Always challenge your thoughts using logic, morality, and critical thinking. Whenever you meet someone, think about what they believe is right or wrong. If you understand their beliefs about pleasure, pain, success, and life, you'll get why they act the way they do. It's just how they see the world. Just like you shouldn't be surprised if a fig tree gives figs, don't be shocked when the world works as it always has. A doctor shouldn't be shocked by illness, and a sailor shouldn't be surprised by changing winds. Changing your mind or taking advice from someone doesn't mean you're not free. You're choosing to act based on your judgment and understanding. If you have control over an action, why do it this way? If someone else is in control, who can you blame? Atoms or some higher power? Blaming doesn't make sense, so don't blame anyone if you can fix the root of the problem. If not, at least address the outcome. If you can't do either, then complaining is pointless. Always have a reason for what you do. When something dies, it doesn't leave the universe. It transforms into different elements, just like everything else, including you. These elements also change, so don't be upset about it. Everything, like horses and plants, has a purpose. Even the sun has its role in the universe, as do other forces. What's your purpose? Is it just to enjoy life? See if that idea truly resonates with your inner self. Nature has intentions for everything, from its start to its end. Consider a ball being thrown. Its rise has a purpose, and so does its fall. When it's on the ground, is that bad? Is it bad when a bubble pops or a lamp goes out? Everything has its time and place. Think about the inside of our bodies. They age, get sick, and eventually break down. People who give and receive praise, or those who remember and are remembered, are all temporary. Especially in this tiny part of the world, people can't get along, not even with themselves. In the grand scheme, our entire world is just a tiny dot. Focus on what's in front of you, whether it's a thought, action, or word. If you're facing challenges, it's because you're hoping to be better in the future instead of working on being better now. Whatever you do, do it to help others. Whatever happens to you, accept it and believe it's part of the universe's plan where everything is connected. Think about the stuff you deal with when taking a bath, like dirty water and grime. It's kind of gross, right? Life has its messy parts too. People pass away all the time. Lucilla lost Varus and then passed away herself. It happened with Secunda and Maximus, Epi, Inanus, Dymas, Antoninus, and Hadrian. It's the cycle of life. Even those who thought they could predict the future or were very proud of themselves, where are they now? People like Carax, Demetrius, and others were important for a while, but now they're either forgotten, turned into stories, or not remembered at all. So remember this: one day, the essence that is you will either scatter, the spark of life within you will go out, or it'll move to another place. True happiness comes from doing what's right. This means being kind to others, not getting caught up in our feelings, questioning our assumptions, and understanding the bigger picture of the universe and how everything connects. We all have three key relationships: with the responsibilities of our lives, with the greater force or universe that connects everything, and with the people around us. Pain is either a physical thing, and if so, let our bodies respond, or it's mental, but our minds can stay calm and not see pain as a bad thing. Our thoughts, plans, wants, and dislikes are all in our mind, which can stay unaffected by harm. Get rid of misleading thoughts and remind yourself that you have the power to keep your mind free from harm, desire, and chaos. Remembering the true nature of things helps you use them wisely. Always remember this inner strength you have. Whether you're speaking in a formal setting or just chatting, prioritize being sincere and meaningful over just sounding good. Always speak with integrity. Think about famous families from history, like Augustus's family. All those people, his family, friends, and advisors, have passed away. Think about families that ended with no one left to carry on their name. Even if ancestors wanted a long line of descendants, eventually there would be a last one. And with that person's passing, the entire lineage ends. Live each moment of your life in a way that, if that moment achieves its purpose, it's enough. No one can stop you from doing this. Sure, there might be external challenges, but those can't prevent you from being fair, self-controlled, or wise. If one plan gets blocked, adapt gracefully and find another way. Doing so still aligns with living a purposeful life. When good things come your way, accept them without getting arrogant. If you have to let them go, do so without fuss. Imagine seeing a hand or a foot severed from the body and lying lifeless. That's what someone becomes when they complain too much, isolate themselves, or act selfishly. If you feel disconnected from the bigger picture, remember you were meant to be a part of it. But the awesome thing is, even if you feel separated, you can always reconnect. This second chance isn't common, but it's a special gift given to humans. Just as nature adapts and uses everything that comes its way, we too have the ability to take any obstacle and use it to our advantage. This is one of the unique skills that rational beings like us have. Don't get overwhelmed by thinking about your entire life or all the potential problems you might face. When you encounter a problem, ask yourself if it's really that bad. Usually, it's not. Remember, it's only the present moment that can affect you, not the past or future. If you focus only on the present challenge and remind yourself that it's just one issue, it'll be easier to handle. Do people still mourn long-gone leaders like Varus or Hadrian? Probably not. And even if they did, would those leaders know or care? Even if they did care, those mourners won't live forever. Book 9, on friendship. Everything in nature works together perfectly. Just like this, honesty is important because lying disrupts the balance. The universe follows truth, and lying messes up this balance. It's like going against how the universe is meant to work. Chasing after pleasure and avoiding pain without thinking about the bigger picture can also upset this balance. This attitude often leads to blaming the universe when bad people get good things or good people get bad things. Fearing pain or always seeking pleasure can make us act unfairly, which goes against the natural order. We should stay neutral about things the universe treats neutrally, like pain, pleasure, life, death, or reputation. If we don't, we're acting against nature. Everything happens for a reason in the universe, as part of a grand plan set by a higher power. This power created a beautiful system where everything has a purpose and place. Ideally, we should live a life free from lies, fake behavior, excess, and vanity. If we don't, it's better to move on from life when we're tired of these negative traits. Why stay surrounded by negativity? A corrupt mind is even worse than any disease because it harms our essence, not just our body. It's like a mental illness more damaging than any physical sickness. Don't fear death. Accept it as a natural part of life, just like growing up or getting old. Just as we look forward to a baby's birth, we should see death as another step in life's journey. However, don't be careless or overly dramatic about it. See it as a natural process. If you need comfort, think about the chaos and different values of the world you're leaving behind. Don't be angry with the world. Instead, be compassionate and understanding. Remember, you're leaving a world where many don't share your beliefs. If everyone did, staying might be more appealing, but given the challenges, it makes sense to welcome the peace of moving on. When someone does wrong, they're actually hurting themselves by becoming a worse person. People can be unfair not just by what they do, but also by what they fail to do. Be content with your beliefs if you're sure of them, with your actions if they benefit society, and with your feelings if you're at peace with what life brings. Clear away negative thoughts, control urges, manage your desires, and always stay in charge of your actions. All animals share one soul, and all thinking beings share one collective intelligence. Just like there's one earth for everything on it, there's one light and one air for everyone who can see and breathe. All things naturally come together with what's similar to them, just like elements in nature, such as earth settling down or liquids merging. Things that are alike tend to come together unless something stops them. For example, fire rises and spreads quickly because it's attracted to its own kind. Similarly, beings with intellect or consciousness are more likely to connect with those like them. That's why we see animals forming groups and showing care for their young. Even among creatures with higher intelligence, there are communities, families, and cooperation. Think about how even stars, though far apart, seem to have a connection. Ironically, it's only humans who are the most advanced who sometimes forget to connect and support each other. Yet, no matter how much we might try to resist, our nature to come together always wins. It's harder to find an isolated human than a piece of earth that doesn't connect with other earthy elements. Everyone and everything, including humans, the universe, and even the divine, have their own time to shine and contribute. Just like plants have their seasons to bear fruit, our minds and reason give results based on their nature and timing. If you can help others understand better, do it. If not, remember to be kind and patient. Just as the divine powers are with us, helping us with our desires and goals, we should be as understanding as they are when facing challenges or pain. Handle it without seeking sympathy or admiration. Your only goal should be to act in a way that benefits the community and is wise. I've freed myself from stress because I've realized that the real stress was in my thoughts and beliefs, not outside of me. Everything we experience is temporary and often ordinary. Today's world isn't much different from our ancestors' times. External things don't tell us about themselves. It's our mind that makes judgments about them. It's not about how we feel, but what we do that defines our goodness or badness, our virtues or flaws. Our actions, not feelings, show who we are. Just like a stone doesn't care if it's thrown up or falls down. It's neutral. Look deep into people's minds, and you'll see their fears and how they judge themselves. Everything is always changing, including us and the universe. Someone else's mistakes are for them to deal with, not you. Ending an action, desire, or opinion is like letting them go. It's not a bad thing. Think about the stages of life: childhood, youth, adulthood, old age. Moving from one stage to another is like letting go, so why be afraid? Remember the times with your grandparents, then your mom, then your dad. With all those changes, was there ever a reason to be scared? Similarly, there's no reason to fear changes and endings in life. Quickly check in with yourself, the world around you, and the person who upset you. Remind yourself to be fair. Remember you're part of a bigger universe, and try to understand if the other person acted knowingly or not. Also remember that person is connected to you in some way. We're all part of a bigger community, and everything we do should benefit that community. If what you're doing isn't helping the community directly or indirectly, then it's not aligning with the bigger picture. It's like being on a team and not playing along with everyone else. People argue over petty things, like kids fighting over toys. We're all just souls dealing with the temporary nature of life. Think of it like a play about life and death. It helps put things in perspective. When faced with an issue, break it down to its core and think about its essence and how long it will truly matter. You faced a lot of unnecessary stress because you weren't content with doing what you're naturally good at. It's time to let go of that. When someone criticizes or dislikes you, try to understand their perspective. Realize their opinion shouldn't bother you, but remember to be kind to them. They're just like you, and the universe supports them too. Life's patterns are consistent. Things always cycle between highs and lows. Either there's a universal force guiding each event, so we should accept what it brings, or everything happens randomly. If there's a higher power, things are good. If it's random, we shouldn't live randomly. Soon we'll all be buried, and even the earth will change. When you think about how fast things change, it makes everything else seem small. Everything is connected like a stream moving things along. It's funny to see people thinking they've got it all figured out, especially when they act like they're wise and influential. Stay focused on what you need to do now. If you can make a difference, do it without worrying about who's watching or trying to create a perfect world. Be content with small successes because changing people's minds is tough. They often pretend to agree but feel trapped by their own beliefs. Think about historical figures like Alexander and Philip. Did they truly understand life's purpose and act accordingly? If they were just putting on a show, that's not for me. Philosophy is about simplicity and humility. Don't get lost chasing empty glory. Imagine looking down from a high place and seeing countless people living their lives, celebrating, traveling, and experiencing ups and downs. Think about those who lived before you, those who will come after, and those from different cultures. Many don't know you, and many who do will soon forget or criticize you. Chasing lasting fame or current praise isn't worth it. Stay calm and don't let external things shake you. Act with fairness and focus on doing good for the community. It's what aligns with your true nature. Many worries are unnecessary and come from your own perceptions. Let them go to simplify your life. Understand the big picture of the universe. Think about forever and realize how quickly things change. Consider how brief life is compared to the vastness of time before and after it. What are people really like on the inside? What drives them, and why do they care about certain things? Try to see their true selves. When they think their criticism hurts or their compliments benefit us, they're really just full of themselves. Change isn't a loss. It's just a natural process that the universe enjoys. Things have always evolved this way and will continue to do so. So, how can you argue that everything is always bad with so many powerful forces out there? Isn't it possible that everything is actually in balance and not doomed to endless suffering? Everything is made up of simple, often unappealing components: water, dirt, bones, and decay. Even what we value, like marble or gold, comes from basic elements. Breath, too, is just air moving in and out, always changing. Stop stressing over a difficult life and overthinking things. Why are you so upset? Have you not faced such issues before? Think about what's bothering you. Is it the situation? Analyze it. Are it the details? Look at them closely too. Beyond these, there's nothing else. Remember, whether you live for 100 years or just 3, it's essentially the same journey. Book 10. Understanding the Whole Universe. Hey, soul, can you be honest with yourself, happy, and content without always seeking more? Can you feel satisfied with what you have right now? Can you believe that everything you have is just what you need, and that everything that happens is for the best? Can you see yourself as part of a bigger picture, where everything is connected and constantly changing for a reason? Most importantly, can you feel at peace with the world around you, getting along with both the divine and other people? Listen to your natural instincts. If something is good for you and doesn't hurt your well-being, go for it. Remember that being reasonable also means thinking about others. Stick to these ideas and try not to overthink things. Whatever comes your way, you can handle it or you can't. If you can handle it, do so without complaining. If you can't, it will eventually pass. Just know that your attitude can make any situation easier if you can see the purpose behind it. If someone makes a mistake, try to guide them gently. If you can't help them see their mistake, then either look at what you might be doing wrong or let it go. Everything that happens is part of a grand plan that has been set for you forever. Your life and everything in it are connected in this vast web of existence. Whether everything is made of tiny particles or guided by universal rules, 2 things are clear. First, I'm a small part of a big universe that follows certain rules. Second, I'm connected to other beings like me. Keeping this in mind, I won't complain about what life gives me because what's good for the universe is good for me too. The universe is designed not to harm itself, so if I remember I'm part of this universe, I'll be content with what comes my way. Also, since I'm connected to others, I'll act in a way that benefits everyone and avoids causing harm. This way, my life will be meaningful, like how a person feels fulfilled when they contribute positively to their community. The universe is always changing and transforming. If parts of the universe are meant to change, it doesn't mean nature intended to harm them or overlook this change. It's just how things are. So it's strange to be upset when things change or end, because that's just nature's way. Everything eventually breaks down into basic elements, either getting scattered or turning back into earth and air. These elements aren't with you from birth. They come from the food you eat and the air you breathe. Even if recent elements influence you a bit more, change is a natural part of the universe's design. Adopt qualities like kindness, humility, honesty, wisdom, patience, and strength. Stick to them. And if you lose track, quickly get back on course. Being wise means being observant and attentive. Patience means accepting what life throws at you. Strength means prioritizing your mental well-being over physical discomfort or fear of things like death. If you can truly live by these qualities without needing validation from others, you'll transform your life. But if you keep getting distracted or making mistakes, it's okay to step back and find a place to refocus. If things get too tough, know when to gracefully exit, ensuring you've done at least one thing right. Just like trees are meant to bear fruit and dogs are meant to hunt, humans have a purpose too. So aim to be the best version of yourself, not for praise, but to grow and fulfill your purpose. Modern life with its distractions, like movies, war, fear, laziness, and people-pleasing, can make you forget the important lessons you've learned from observing the world around you. Whenever you do something, not only should you complete the task, but also learn from it and build confidence from that knowledge. Don't show off, but don't hide your knowledge either. Will you ever truly understand simplicity and dignity? Can you see things for what they truly are, where they fit in the world, how long they last, what they're made of, and who they belong to? A spider feels proud catching a fly. One person feels the same catching a small animal. Another feels this when catching a tiny fish, and another when hunting bigger animals or defeating an enemy in battle. But aren't they all just showing off? If you really think about their motives, learn to see how everything is connected and transforms into one another. Keep practicing this perspective to develop a broader mindset. By understanding this, you realize that we're all temporary in this world, which helps you act fairly and in harmony with the universe. Don't worry about others' opinions. Focus on doing the right thing and embracing your journey. A person who is calm only wishes to act rightly and in alignment with the universe. If you're unsure about something, take a step back and seek advice. If you know what's right, move forward confidently. If challenges come up, handle them wisely and always lean towards fairness. By following reason, you'll find peace, but be ready to act when needed. Always stay positive and balanced. Every morning, remind yourself, does it matter if someone else does the right thing? Remember the true nature of people who are quick to judge others. Think about their actions and priorities. Don't let them distract you. Focus on maintaining your integrity and staying true to your values. Nature gives and takes everything. A wise and humble person would say, give what you want, take what you want. Genuinely, not to show off, but out of real respect for nature. You've got limited time left in life. Live like you're on top of the world, no matter where you are. Live as a good person, true to the world's values. Let people see you living authentically. If they can't handle it, it's better to die standing for what's right than living their way. Stop just talking about what it means to be a good person. Just be one. Always think about the vastness of time in the universe. Realize that everything, when broken down, is simple and small, like a seed or a twist of a drill. Look around and understand that everything is changing, fading, or on its way out. Everything is temporary. Think about how people live their daily lives, eating, sleeping, or doing basic stuff, and then see them acting all important, getting mad, or thinking they're better than others. Remember, not long ago, many of them were taking orders from someone else. Where will they be soon? Whatever happens by nature's design is beneficial for everyone and always at the right time. The earth enjoys the rain just as the sky does. The universe likes to make things happen, so say, I love what you love. You're either living your usual life here, going somewhere else because you want to, or passing away having done your duties. That's pretty much it. So stay strong. Remember, a quiet place in the countryside is just like anywhere else. Life goes on the same whether you're on a mountain, at the beach, or anywhere. A wise person can find peace anywhere, turning any place into their own sanctuary. Think about what your soul means to you. What are you turning it into? How are you using it? Is it lacking understanding? Does it feel disconnected from the bigger picture, or is it too tied to your physical body, following every little desire? Someone who runs from their responsibilities is like a person escaping from their boss. Our duty is to follow the natural laws of life. If you break them, you're running away. If you can't accept things that have happened or will happen because of destiny, then you're also running away. If you're upset, scared, or angry about it, you're not facing your responsibilities. When a person contributes to conception, they leave, and nature takes over to grow the baby. It's amazing how a baby forms from just that start. Similarly, when a child eats, the body magically transforms it into energy, feelings, and growth. Think about these hidden processes and recognize the force behind them. Just as we notice things falling or rising, even if we can't see the force itself, realize that history repeats itself. What's happening now has happened before and will happen again. Think about all the events and stories you've heard from the past, like the courts of famous leaders such as Hadrian, Antoninus, Philip, Alexander, or Cato. The situations were the same, just with different people involved. Picture someone complaining or fussing about something like a pig unwillingly getting ready for sacrifice. If someone is sulking alone about life's challenges, remember that only rational beings like humans can choose to accept what happens. Everyone else just goes along with it because they have to. Whenever you do something, ask yourself if the fear of death is because you miss doing that particular thing. When someone's actions upset you, take a moment to reflect on your own flaws. Think about times when you might have given too much importance to money, fleeting pleasures, or brief moments of fame. This perspective will help calm your anger. Remember, often people act a certain way because they feel they have no other choice. If you can, try to help them see another way. When you come across people like Socrates, remember others like Plato or Hypatia. If you think of Epictetus, remember Marcus Aurelius or Seneca. Every time you think about yourself, consider figures like the Caesars or any other person. Ask yourself where they are now. The answer is gone, lost in the vastness of time. Everything in life is fleeting, like smoke. So why worry so much? Just focus on making the best of your short time here. Everything around you is an opportunity to learn and grow. Make sure no one can genuinely say that you aren't straightforward, honest, and kind. If someone thinks otherwise, prove them wrong through your actions. This is something you can control. Decide to be a good and genuine person. If you feel you can't be, then perhaps it's time to reevaluate your life's purpose. Reason doesn't want you to live a life that's not true to yourself. Ask yourself what's the best action or response in each situation. Whatever that answer is, you have the freedom to act or speak that way. Don't make excuses or think you're limited. You'll only find peace when you fully embrace your potential and see every opportunity as a chance to act in line with your true self. Find joy in every action that aligns with your true nature. This freedom is yours everywhere. Think about it. A cylinder can't always roll the way it's meant to, just as water, fire, or anything governed solely by nature or an irrational mind can't always move or act freely. There are obstacles everywhere, but our rational mind can navigate any challenge and stay true to its purpose. Remember how effortlessly reason can navigate challenges, like how fire rises or a stone falls. Don't overcomplicate things. The only real challenges we face are either physical or come from our own perceptions and beliefs. These challenges don't make us worse. They offer opportunities to become better. Lastly, remember that nothing harms an individual if it doesn't harm the community, and nothing harms the community if it doesn't harm its guiding principles or laws. So anything that doesn't harm these principles can't harm the community or its members. For someone rooted in true values, even the simplest reminder can keep them free from sadness or fear. Consider this. Leaves fall, but trees produce more every spring. Similarly, as one generation of people ends, another begins. Your children, those who praise or criticize you, and even those who remember you are all like these leaves, temporary. They come into existence for a while, and then are replaced by others. Everything has a limited lifespan, yet we behave as if some things are eternal. Soon you'll pass away, and someone else will mourn your loss. A healthy eye should appreciate all it sees without demanding only specific colors. Just as a good ear should be open to all sounds, a healthy mind should be prepared for any eventuality. Wanting only specific outcomes, like praise or good for our loved ones, is as limiting as an eye wanting only to see green. No matter how fortunate a person is, when they're on their deathbed, someone will be relieved they're going. If the person was good and wise, someone might think, finally, I won't feel judged by him anymore. That's for a good person. For me, there are even more reasons why many would be glad to see me go. When I'm dying, I'll think I'm leaving a world where even those I cared for might want me gone, maybe even hoping to benefit from it. So why cling to life then? But don't leave with bitterness. Stay kind and gracious. Leave the world peacefully, not forcefully, just like a natural death where the soul easily leaves the body. Nature brought us together with others, and now it's time to part. Leave as if saying goodbye to family, accepting it's time to go. Always try to understand why someone does something, but start with yourself. Reflect on your own actions first. Remember that what drives our actions is the inner spirit. That's the real essence of a person. Don't mistake this force for the physical body it resides in. Other than being part of us, our body parts are tools. Just like a carpenter's axe without the guiding spirit is as useful as a pen without a writer. Book 11. On Forgetting What We've Learned. Our mind is smart and can guide itself. Unlike plants and animals that help others, our mind helps us. Even when life ends, our soul stays complete. Imagine an actor who still gives a great performance no matter what happens around them. Our soul knows about the huge universe, forever time, and how life goes in cycles. When you're 40 years old, you've already seen many of the same things people in the past and future will experience. Our soul values love, honesty, humility, and respect. It matches with what's fair and right. If you break a song into single notes or a dance into steps, they don't seem as special. This way of thinking helps us understand most things, except virtues and good deeds. Always look at the basics to truly understand and often see how small things are in the bigger picture. Imagine being okay with leaving this world, whether it means ending or changing into something new. This acceptance should come from real thinking, not just being stubborn. It should be genuine and inspire others to feel the same. Ask yourself if you've done good for the greater good. Is this good for you too? Keep this idea close and act on it. What are your true skills in doing good, and how can you achieve that by understanding human nature and the bigger picture? Tragedy in plays shows us that some events are meant to happen. If we enjoy these stories on stage, we shouldn't be too upset when similar things happen in real life. Playwrights have shared useful ideas, like if the gods ignore us, there's a reason. Being angry about outside events is pointless. Life should be enjoyed, just like we enjoy ripe corn after tough times. Old comedies taught us truths and humility. Diogenes had a similar way of thinking. Later comedies just imitated things, but what was the real point of their work? Your current life is perfect for learning philosophy. Just like a branch separated from its tree isn't part of the tree anymore, a person who cuts themselves off from others isn't part of the larger community. This separation often happens because of negative feelings like hatred. But thanks to wisdom, we can always reconnect and be part of the whole. The more we separate ourselves, the harder it is to reconnect. A branch that's naturally connected is different from one that's been reattached. If people challenge your decisions, don't let them make you feel bad or change your beliefs. Stay true to your beliefs, but be kind to those who disagree. Getting angry or giving up shows weakness. Leaving or not supporting friends and family is just as bad. Nature is greater than human art because all art comes from nature. The universe is the greatest form of nature above all human creations. Just as artists use raw materials to make something amazing, nature does the same, leading to values like justice. Justice is important, and we can't keep it if we worry too much about small things or are inconsistent. If you find yourself chasing or avoiding stress, remember it's often because you're going to it, not the other way around. Stay calm and centered, and stress will lose its power. The soul is best when balanced, not reaching too far or pulling back too much. It should be clear and bright, helping you see the truth inside and out. If someone looks down on you, that's their issue. Focus on not giving them a reason to. If someone dislikes you, that's on them. Be kind, understanding, and offer help if they're wrong, not to show off but out of genuine goodwill. Live in a way that even the gods would see you as calm and true to yourself. Accept what the universe brings, especially if it's for the greater good. People might act like they're better, but they often flatter and bend to others. When someone says, "Be honest with you," honesty should be a natural part of who we are. Like love is obvious in the eyes of lovers. True honesty shouldn't need to be announced. It should be as clear as a strong smell. Beware of fake friendships. They're the worst. Real kindness and integrity show in a person's eyes and are unmistakable. Living your best life is within your control, especially if you don't get caught up in things that don't matter. Things around us don't shape our opinions. We do. We can choose not to hold on to negative thoughts, or if they come, let them go quickly. Life is short, so why make it hard? If something feels natural, embrace it, and it will get easier. If it doesn't, find what feels right for you and pursue it, even if it's not glamorous. Everyone should be allowed to chase what makes them truly happy. Think about where things come from, how they'll change, and their future. Remember our connection to humanity. We're made for each other, like team members supporting each other. Think about how people act in everyday life and their beliefs, sometimes with misplaced confidence. If people act correctly, great. If not, they're likely acting out of ignorance. No one wants to be seen as unkind or unfair. Even if you avoid mistakes, you can still make them. Don't judge too quickly. It takes knowledge to understand others fully. If you're stressed, remember life is short. We're here for a brief time. It's not others' actions, but our reactions that upset us. If you don't see something as a personal slight, it won't bother you. Often, our reactions are worse than the problems. Genuine kindness is powerful. If someone tries to hurt you, respond with understanding and show them a better way with compassion, not sarcasm. Expecting bad people not to act badly is unrealistic, but don't let them harm others and think they'll spare you. Think of these tips as tools for life. Be more understanding and patient. Avoid anger and excessive praise. Both can lead to problems. True strength comes from patience and understanding. The closer you stay to calmness, the stronger you are. Hoping that wrongdoers won't act wrongly is naive. Expecting them to harm others and leave you untouched is foolish and unfair. Watch out for unnecessary thoughts, harmful relationships, insincere words, and guilt, as they show you're letting desires control your judgment. Think about the elements in your body. Fire rises and earth falls. Stay balanced because of the universe's laws. Sometimes, our mind rebels and resists its natural state. Negative feelings like anger, sadness, or fear show you're going against your nature. Remember, your soul is meant for respect and fairness. Valuing fairness is important. If you keep changing your goals, you won't be consistent. But just having one goal isn't enough. It needs to be the right one. Align your personal goals with the greater good to maintain a consistent character. Think of the story of the city mouse and the country mouse. The city mouse was always worried, and Socrates thought popular beliefs were like silly monsters used to scare kids. The Spartans took shaded seats but took any spot for themselves. Socrates didn't accept Pica's offer because he didn't want to owe a favor he couldn't repay. The Ephesians suggested remembering past virtuous people. The Pythagoreans said to look at the sky every morning to remember the pure nature of stars. Socrates wore just a skin because Xanthippe took his cloak and told his friends it was no big deal. In reading and life, you need to learn before you can teach or lead. If you're not free, neither are your words. Some criticize pure virtue, hoping for something that's gone. Epicurus once said when hugging your child, remember they might not be here tomorrow. It's not bad luck, but a reality of life, like saying the corn has been harvested. Green grapes become ripe, and ripe grapes become dried. These are transformations, not nothingness. Epicurus pointed out that no one can take away your freedom to act. He also stressed understanding the true nature of our decisions and controlling our urges to be balanced and community-focused. We should avoid being swayed by desires and not stress over things beyond our control. The real question isn't about trivial things, but about clear thinking. Socrates asked if we want rational souls or irrational ones. Of course, rational ones. Do you want virtuous ones? Yes. Then why not pursue them? We believe we already have them. So why the conflicts and disagreements? Book 12. Finding Harmony in Life. Sometimes we try too hard to get things we already have. To be happy, Let go of the past, trust that the future will work out, and focus on living well right now. Embrace your life as it is because it's meant for you. Be honest, do the right thing, and don't let other people or their opinions stop you. Remember, your body might have limits, but it's your mind and spirit that really matter. As life comes to an end, focus on your inner self. Don't fear dying. Fear not really living. If you do this, you'll feel connected to the world that made you. You'll understand life's events better and won't be surprised or overwhelmed. Think about it. God sees our true selves, not just our physical bodies. If you focus on your soul instead of physical things like clothes or houses, many problems won't seem so big. Your life is made up of 3 parts: your body, your soul, and your mind. The mind is the most important. If you ignore what others say or do and clear your mind of worries and distractions, you'll find peace and clarity. Focus on the present moment to enjoy a fulfilling life. People often value their own opinions but care too much about what others think. Imagine if someone had to share every thought they had. Most wouldn't last a day. This shows we care more about what others think than about our own self. Trust that the gods who have always done right by us have a plan. If something doesn't go the way we expect, it's meant to be that way. Believe that the gods have a bigger picture in mind and try new things, even if they seem impossible. Just like your less used left hand might get better with practice, you might surprise yourself. Think about how you want to be when death comes. Life is short compared to the endless flow of time, and material things are uncertain. Understand the true nature of pain, pleasure, death, and fame. Many problems come from how we see things, and external factors can't truly control us. Be flexible like a boxer who can adapt to different situations. A swordsman needs their sword, but a boxer always has their fists. Reflect on the essence of things, not just their physical aspects. Humans have the power to act in ways that are good and to accept whatever happens. Don't blame the gods for natural events. They don't make mistakes, and people don't do wrong on purpose. Life is either controlled by a higher power or it's random. If it's destiny, don't fight it. If there's a kind force, align with it. If life seems chaotic, remember that you can control your reactions. Even if life overwhelms you, it can't take away your core beliefs. Just as a lamp shines until it goes out, let your values like truth and fairness shine brightly. When you think someone has done wrong, ask yourself if you're sure it's a wrongdoing. If they've made a mistake, they've already judged themselves. Expecting bad people to act well is like wishing for the impossible. If you care, help them change. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it. Always try to understand why you feel the way you do about something. Break it down. What caused it, its significance, and how it connects to other things. Realize there's something greater inside you than immediate feelings. Ask yourself what you're feeling and why. Do things with a purpose and aim for the greater good. Everything you see will eventually go away, and everything changes over time. Remember that perspective is important, and you control it. Change your viewpoint to find peace and calm. Every natural process has an end, and ending is part of the universe's plan. Life's end is natural and beneficial. Going with life's flow means walking with the universe. Keep these 3 ideas in mind. First, act thoughtfully and justly, understanding that things happen by chance or design, and don't blame either. Second, understand the nature of things, their origin, what they're made of, and their end. Third, see the world from above and realize that while people's actions vary, the bigger picture remains the same. Everything is temporary, so don't be proud of fleeting things. Let go of biases to find peace. If something upsets you, remember that everything happens according to the universe's nature. Mistakes are often made by others, and everything has happened before and will happen again. Recognize our shared bond and that intelligence is divine. Nothing truly belongs to us, not our family, body, or even our life. Perception shapes reality, and the present moment is all we have. Think about those who were famous or had great achievements. Now they're just memories. Understand how fleeting such things are. A true philosopher should be kind, balanced, and respect the universe without pretending to be humble. When people question the existence of the gods, you can say that, even if you can't see them, you feel their presence. It's like not seeing your soul but knowing it's there. The gods' influence confirms their existence. True clarity in life comes from understanding the essence of everything and being genuinely fair. Enjoy life and make the most of every moment. Just as there is one sun shining on everything, there's a singular essence in everything, even if it appears in many forms. Everything is connected by shared consciousness. Think about what truly matters. Living true to yourself and accepting what the universe has planned. Even those who loved pleasure and feared pain weren't afraid of dying. If you believe everything happens for a reason, then life's length doesn't matter. Think of life as being part of a grand city. Does it matter if you lived there for 3 or 5 years? Everything follows the city's rules. If nature decides it's your time to leave, accept it. Imagine life as a play. If you're taken off the stage after 3 acts instead of 5, it's okay. The universe decides the play's length. Bow out gracefully, knowing the universe has its reasons. In the grand tapestry of life, our journey is shaped by how we perceive and engage with the world around us. Understanding that the soul remains complete and that our existence is part of a larger, repeating cycle helps us embrace our role with grace and wisdom. Just as a play's value lies not in individual scenes, but in the whole performance, our lives gain meaning through our commitment to virtues and our acceptance of the natural flow of events. By focusing on what truly matters, love, honesty, and self-respect, we align ourselves with universal justice and find peace amidst life's inevitable challenges. Remember, the essence of our experiences and the integrity of our actions shape the true impact we leave behind. Embrace your journey with purpose and let your understanding of life's bigger picture guide you towards a fulfilling and harmonious existence.